Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Black, White, Midrange. We have a lot of anti-combo tools at our disposal for a normal, fair black and white deck. We have 4 Thoughtseize, and we have 4 Cabal Therapy, and we have 2 Inquisition of Kozilek. A full sixth of our deck is dedicated to disrupting our opponent's hand. And one cool thing about Cabal Therapy is you can flash it back by sacrificing a cat, which really makes AJANI angry, and he turns into a full-blown planeswalker after that. And then you might be wondering, but where's the red? How do you get the red trigger? Well, we have Voice of Victory so that we can use the powerful direct damage aspect of AJANI's 0 ability. We also have Staff of the Storyteller, which pretty much everything in our deck generates a token, so it allows us to draw a lot of cards, which is helpful because our deck can use like a card advantage engine if we manage to stabilize the game and we want to grind. And this is basically an extra draw every single turn because we're always going to be generating lots of tokens. We have Voice of Victory, we have Bowmasters, which generates a token, and we have the Guide of Souls Ocelot Pride combo. We also have the best removal spell ever printed, Swords of Plowshares, and we've got a generous mana base, 22 lands, including 4 Wasteland and a Karakas, so some utility lands in there. And then in the sideboard, we have one of my favorite cards, Clarion Conqueror. All challengers were summarily silenced. This shuts down artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers, and it's a 3/3 body. Flying for 3 mana. Now, 3 mana is a big ask in Legacy, and what other 3 mana creatures are even worth considering right now? Barragoyf. Barragoyf is great against aggro decks. We got 3 of those on the board. We also have 2 Prismatic Endings. These are mostly just against tempo decks, but they have been known to get rid of a Tamio, both in creature and planeswalker form, for 1 mana, which is very nice. We got the 4 Ley Lines, and we got the 3 Deafening Silence. Again, I don't like this card. I think it sucks, but it's very necessary because there are lots of Storm combos that would love to be able to cast their spells, and this says no. We're going to play a full 5 rounds as always. See you in round 1. Round 1, we're up against a likely Eldrazi gamer. Oh my goodness. You have to do this to me against the Chalice deck. I mean, we have 21 other lands we could draw. Technically 20 after we fetched. I don't think we do this. I don't like mulliganing with these fair decks. It is hard to recoup cards. We could Ocelot Pride, but if they just K command and clear it, and then they drop a Chalice, or if they drop a Chalice after they've played this, like this is not going to necessarily be able to race. I'm going to mulligan this. This is a mediocre hand, frankly. We do have access to, we don't do anything the first turn. I think it's okay though. I can surveil and then I can waste them if I need to. I can play AJANI. I think I'm going to keep this. We'll put back one of the staffs. I need to keep Voice of Victory and AJANI together just in case AJANI flips. I don't need to, but yeah, like realistically, we're not going to have the resources early game to use the staffs to their full. So I'm going to go ahead and play this out with the expectation that like we're going to surveil and then we're going to get a Plains just to make sure we have stable mana. They may not be on Eldrazi, but they've been on that recently. And that is a very scary deck to face. Okay, so they're on big mana. So I'm definitely going to surveil here. So the previous hand actually would have been great against big mana. That is fine. They're not going to go after our lands. I don't need another land. Okay, AJANI. I could just cast the second AJANI and flip him. We're just going to go full AJANI beatdown here. I'll get a scrub land. I don't think they're going to do anything with our lands here. I could have wasted that, but like we need some forward momentum and then we'll slow them down. But they could very easily just jam like a 1-ring next turn. Probably not. If they're playing Cloud Post, they're on the slightly slower but more stable build than like the straight up Karnforge decks. By the way, I love that Cloud Post art. It's so cool looking. So that is 3 mana there. But it's just a Chalice. That's actually fine. Right now, it doesn't affect us. I'm going to go to the Nexus. Oh, of course, we drew a 1-drop. We actually don't have that many 1-drops in our deck. I think it makes sense to go ahead and voice this turn. And then next turn we play AJANI to kill. That way we immediately have a red permanent so we can hit them. I do need to waste them this turn cycle. I'm going to go after the Nexus. It just is the most powerful card in their deck, frankly. Okay, and they don't have crop rotation. Technically, I should have played Voice of Victory first. Like, they didn't have a way to filter, but they could have had like a green, like an Elvish Spirit Guide or something and been able to filter. All right, we're going to hit for 3 and we'll pass. Yeah, one of the great things about AJANI is that he kills other AJANIs. There can only be one. And after he has like his cool like medieval sword fight thing with the lightning in the garage parking lot, then only one AJANI will stand tall, and he'll have seen the death of the other one, and then he'll get really upset. Like, you can't kill me. Only I can kill me. But wait, I did just kill me. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just being silly. Okay, so here we go. It's countered. Yeah, like I think the first play is, let's see, is there any benefit to attack? Yeah, we should attack first so we get the extra damage. And then we get to AJANI, and then we get to use the Planeswalker ability. Yeah, let's do that. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I'm relatively new to AJANI, even though it's like a 18-month-old card. 16-month-old. Okay, we come in. We've got these nice red permanents over here. Noteworthy. Now we're going to go white. White, please don't be the Force of Will version, but you probably are. Oh, wait, you can't because of Voice of Victory. Ha ha ha. Okay, so we'll just keep... It doesn't actually matter which one we keep because one of them will see the other die. Okay, so that triggered ability goes on the stack. Choose an AJANI to keep. It doesn't matter. Right? I don't think it matters. I'll be very embarrassed if it does matter. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and... yes, I'd like to use the ability. I guess he doesn't have to get all upset, but he chooses to. And number of creatures you control, that's a lot of damage. All right, and let's hit you for like 6 or 7 or something, like a lot. Wow, this is strong. Now they basically have to like kill this, otherwise we're going to have red and we're going to be hitting them for a ton. Here's the One Ring, of course. Game wouldn't be complete without the One Ring coming in, mucking things up, but we'll be all right, I think. So we can make these buffer. There's no target to hit. I can play a staff. It doesn't do anything. I guess I might as well. Can't do anything else. I'm trying to think if there's any reason at all to do anything other than just buff our cats. Plus, we can do the thing. Each opponent chooses an artifact, a creature, and an enchantment. I mean, we can get them to get rid of their chalice, I guess, if we want to ultimate this. And it's each opponent, so it's not like Cataclysm, but the big thing is Cataclysm hits lands, which is huge. And yeah, so we'll buff all our dudes. You're dead on board. Let's see you do some gymnastics over there. I guess I should have technically attacked so I could get a second charge counter. I didn't think about that. Sorry. That was a punt. It probably won't matter. They're either dead or they're not. Like, if they either find another one ring or they're dead. I think it's that simple. And if they find another One Ring, we can keep playing. I think each opponent... Okay, so this doesn't target. So we can get rid of their chalice. And then we can play out an Ocelot Pride. I don't know if that accomplishes anything. All right, so they have 4 mana. Is this the One Ring? What do you know? All right, and this is the kind of gameplay that I'm always complaining about. Like, this is like the unfun aspect of Magic. At least if you're getting stormed, you know, they like built their entire deck around storm, but like the One Ring it just feels, I don't know. Okay, so they don't have the ability to cast any spells, so we have a turn where we can basically do whatever we want. There's no point in doing anything here. I believe this actually, if we plus here, I don't think it really makes sense to plus, but they could get their life total really high. I think the thing to do is to minus to make them get rid of one of these permanents. And then if they get rid of the chalice, we have access to Pride. We could draw a Wasteland. I'm going to go ahead and minus. I don't think they're going to like do damage to this. No, let's do that. Had I attacked last turn, I still would only be able to draw one card with this. So I think they're going to keep the One Ring here. But they could keep... Okay, they're drawing. That's fine. So they can sack it and it's replaced itself in addition to being a time walk. Okay, and they did indeed get rid of it. Okay, so we still can't really do anything, but I am going to draw now. Just in case I find a Wasteland. That would be great. Swamp, I will play it. I'll attack just to proc. All right. Got a full grip of things that don't do anything. But we have lethal pressure. Okay, they gain some life. It's not enough. They're still dead on board. Okay, this is fine. That's fine. How many 0-drops do you have? Like, they could get themselves out of range. They gain some more life. Okay, they're out of range now, I think. This is another 1 ring. No, it's choose 3. Target creature gets +3, -3. Okay, they're killing some of our creatures. I think they misclicked, but they're exiling one of our dudes. Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, we're not winning anymore. Maybe I did need to keep playing stuff. Yeah, man, I can't believe they're clawing out of this. Like, I thought I had a really strong board presence. Do we still want to play? Let's go ahead and see what we draw here. I'm just so embarrassed that, like, I missed an attack. Yeah. I mean, had I just kept creating cats, then I would have had more targets for the Ugin. I think that I learned from that mess, though. Okay, so let's talk about what we're doing here. Clarion Conqueror, this is the matchup for it. I don't think Baragoy comes in. They have lots of things they can do to get rid of stuff. We want to go wide. All these cards are good. Inquisition is actually pretty bad. And the reason is, like, almost all their cards cost more than 3 mana. I think I'm going to take it out. Also, Orcust Bowmasters does stuff. Bowmaster or Plow, I think we completely take it out. But what do we replace it with? I guess, do we bring the Inquisition back in? I'm trying to think of cards that it can even hit. Technically, you can hit K-Command. It's not completely dead. And then we could bring in a Berry, just as yet another, like, high curve attacker. Prismatic Ending does deal with Chalice. I'm trying to think of other things that it deals with. I don't actually think there are that many. Are there any of these cards that are completely dead? I think I'd rather play Prismatic Ending than yet another discard spell. I could cut land. We're on the play, though. I don't think it's wise to tamper with our mana base. All right, so the ideal hand is still, like, Guide into Pride. I mean, this is Guide into Guide with a Wasteland. I'm going to keep this. This applies pressure. We just have to keep them off 7 mana because that's when they cast the big annoying... I mean, really, keeping them off 4 mana is ideal to keep them from 1 ring. But at least we gain life and, like, advance our game plan of buffing these things. And so let's go get our Scrubland, and I'll just play a Pride. We don't have a means of putting AJANI down and having putting his brother down. His Pride denied him, and his brother did not. Okay, wow. Force on Guide. That's aggressive. So they pitched a Sink into Stupor. Okay, Cloud Post. I'm going to just waste that, and I'm going to re-guide. And I'm going to hope we draw land. We do. That's a good land to draw. And I do think that this is the way to go. Well, they shouldn't have crop rotation in their 75 because I think it's just mono blue. I think next turn is the Voice of Victory because it really does quickly ratchet up the pressure. I mean, we could just... No, I need to do something proactive. I need to take a turn off and play an actual threat. So, opponents can't... your opponents... So we just put this trigger on the stack first when it attacks, and then we can buff this. So I think that is the play we want to make. This does slightly... This is a higher damage output than this does. Than AJANI. Would love for them to force. They don't. Okay. So next turn, we'll have the energy to gift our Guide with Flight. They have the tower. We're in big trouble. They scoop. All right. Yeah, that's great. We'll take it. So on the draw, are there any changes? I don't think so. The real conflict is you want to disrupt their hand, but you also want to get on board. Game 3. In this probably unfavorable matchup. We got turn 1, Scrubland, into turn 2, or turn 1 Thoughtseize into turn 2 do nothing but advance. I'm going to keep this because Clarion Conqueror is just so strong, but we know that it does get exiled by the damn Ugin thing. The only way to win this matchup ultimately is to control their mana. If they get the mana, they will eventually beat you. Unfortunately, that's just how it works. I do think it's important to go ahead and Thoughtseize. All right, they let us do it. I mean, like Chalice on 1 doesn't matter at all. I think we take this. No, if we take the Dismember, they're pretty far from casting this. We'll just need to find another way of discarding them between now and then. I think the Dismember is the call, and we pass. Their hand's not good. Like if they cast a Chalice here, I just don't care. But wait, we're not going to be able to Thoughtseize them with Chalice out, unfortunately. So we'll need a Prismatic Ending for that. But there were 2 Chalices. It's not like taking 1 is going to change anything. They could Chalice for 2, which would be catastrophic. But we will still have double Clarion. So I'm looking for a land. That's actually great because I can flash that back. Man, what a lucky freaking Surveil. So now I have a way to sack AJANI later if I need to. Granted, I don't want to do that because Clarion Conqueror is going to be out. But like in a world where, yeah, that's fine. Oh, they don't have a land drop. That's great for us. Okay, so I am going to attempt to put Clarion Conqueror on the stack. It's just too powerful, and it shuts off a lot of their most degenerate types of draws. But they could absolutely have a blue card, and we just need to accept that. I'm going to grab another scrub here. I don't think it matters. White. Conqueror. I'm really glad they didn't go for Chalice on 2. That would have been really problematic. It's probably a force. They do have a force. Okay. So their hand is completely unknown. Other than, they pitched a Tishana's Tidebinder. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, they're getting closer to the Ugin, unfortunately. We could double spell here. I think maybe going wide is smarter than just playing Clarion. We can Clarion after they One Ring, and they only have 1 card. I can go ahead and just AJANI immediately. And I can also Voice of Victory now. I think I'm going to voice first. We just need to go wide in anticipation of them exiling all our stuff. So I think, yeah, I think I just want to put as much power on the board as possible right now. Okay, so I'm going to go into AJANI here. We get a dude. I can flash this back, sack AJANI. It's going to get countered, unfortunately. Sack this one, and I'll just make a new one. So AJANI flips. I'm going to go ahead and pull 0. And then next turn, I'll be able to dome them in addition to creating a cat. So it's just a question of how quickly they can draw lands. If they find Planar Nexus, it's devastating. They scooped! All right, we did it! I did not expect to win that game, but yeah. Hanging in there with fair. Round 2, we're up against an unknown opponent. We have the Guide of Pride Souls, Guide of Pride combo. Guide and Pride. And I think we start with that, frankly. I have no idea what they're on, but I think it's almost always correct to just Guide and Pride. If they turn 1 us, that will suck. Actually, we'll know whether they mulligan. If they mulligan a bunch, then I can Kozilek's Inquisition them. They kept pretty quickly. Granted, I did spend a minute deliberating. So I think it's correct to go ahead and grab a Plains just to be careful here. Because if they turn 1 Blood Moon me, I'll feel pretty dumb. If I can't complete my combo because I grabbed a scrub land when I have another fetch in hand. You always Guide before Pride. They did pause for a second, so they may have counter spells. All right. So we do have the option of going ahead and Thoughtseizing them before we do anything. I kind of like doing that. Just in case they have a daze. I will grab the Swamp just out of respect for Wasteland since we don't have any more lands. Thoughtseize you. They're fetching. They may brainstorm. If they brainstorm, then I'll assume they're on a combo deck. Because they're trying to hide combo pieces. So my read would probably be Show and Tell based on the basic island. But it could be Doomsday. Luckily, we do have Inquisition, but that's not going to save us if they can Show and Tell us next turn. All right, let's take a look at that hand. Do you have an Ancient Tomb? Okay. Wow. Quadruple One Ring. It's a pity that we don't have... I mean, I don't really care about this Uro. Putting it in the graveyard actually kind of helps them. I'll just put the Force down, and that way I don't have to worry about them countering my subsequent stuff. But Inquisition is not going to do a damn thing against this hand. I guess technically I could take the Uro if I wanted to next turn, but I won't totally whiff. So I'm going to take the Force here. Wow. I really wish I had a freaking Cabal Therapy. How insane would that be to get 4 rings with 1 Cabal Therapy? So we're going to tempo the heck out of them. We're going to get extra cards off staff. It's going to be glorious. And I'm going to try to go wide before they can go into infinite, damage, protection mode. Okay. What is the card you drew for this turn? That's it? Okay. Well, I mean, it could be worse. I'm just going to play out the staff here. Unless I draw. Ooh! Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah, concede. Yes! Man, what an epic Cabal Therapy. I'm sorry, I cannot help but celebrate that. Like, wow. Okay, so they're on big stuff. I don't know what they're doing over there. Control, I guess. Prismatic Ending doesn't seem like it hits anything in their deck. I don't know that we board anything. I mean, like, I think it's a mistake to see Uro and think, oh, I need to bring in Leyline for that. Clarion Conqueror is good against the One Ring. We probably should bring him in. I think I'm going to take up my Inquisitions based on that. And that's an aberration. I'm sure their deck isn't all 4 drops, or else they'd be just completely destroyed in leagues these days. Like, you can't be slow and early. I think our opponent had a really weird hand that probably shouldn't have been a keep. I mean, it's tempting to take out Plow in these situations. They're probably pretty light on creatures. Yeah, I think if I take I'm certain I woke up my wife if she was taking a nap. I was so loud there. I mean, when we're bringing in Clarion Conqueror, I do want to bring all 3. Because I imagine, we saw they have 4 One Rings. So it shuts it down completely while beating face. So we do want to trim one of these. You know what? Maybe it is worth keeping this because they're going to have I refuse to believe that they just have 3 and 4 drops unless they're on like some sort of Cascade deck, which I doubt. I think we're going to get grindy here. I think staff is good in grinding situations. No, I'm going to take out the Inquisitions. I'll take those out. I'll take out one of the staffs. Just out of respect for Clarion coming in. I mean, it's still a 1/1 flyer. It's not nothing, but and then they're almost always going to remove somehow. So this hand does have Guide and Pride, which I think immediately qualifies it, even though I'm not happy with the absence of black. They're on an Uro deck, so Karakas is very good here. I'm going to keep this. I just have too much faith in Guided Souls into Pride. Like, it's won me so many games with my blue-white deck. It's just a crazy combination. They may have sweepers. Okay, wow. Wow. Would you like to force this? All right, we're through. All right, I would love to find black so I can... Well, I don't really want a therapy here. Holy guacamole. Okay, so now I think they probably don't play Daze. If we Guide and then we Pride... We get a lot of triggers, but if we just Pride and Pride, I think it's still correct to Guide first. Like, I'm really not sure. Like, this has always been puzzling me. I need to like write some program that like figures out mathematically, runs a whole bunch of like Monte Carlo simulations or something for me. Because it doesn't seem intuitive whether it's correct to play one before the other. Leave a comment with a timestamp if you have a strong feeling about this, like how I should sequence this. Okay, so we just gained a lot of energy, and now I think the reason to play this out is we gain a ton of energy, and I'm immediately smashing for 3, and I've upgraded this creature, and I will use it. I know you probably have a Plow. That's fine. I'm still gonna like make my play here, and that's a Plow that you're not aiming at one of my Ocelot Prides. Okay. When this deck works, it feels like magic. Yeah, we're at 25 life, very healthy total. I could have definitely wasted there. I will probably waste here if they get a different color, just to keep them off. Like, they Uro here, that's fine. Okay, Forest. This might be Uro. Wrath for 1. Devastating. Absolutely devastating. Yeah, I don't know if we come back from that. I am going to waste them, and I'll just stick another Pride, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. All right, let's play this out. The good news is they're far from being able to recast this. If we find a swamp, we're going to town on them. Absolutely going to town. Oh my goodness, come on, give us a swamp. We have, I think, like 18 different sources of black in the deck. It's like crazy. Okay, so it's 8 fetches that can, or 7 fetches that can grab 4 scrublands and a swamp and a, so it's 7 plus 6, 13. Is that correct? No, it's 7 plus 7. It's 14. We have 14 black sources. I think we'll get one pretty soon. Okay. Is it arrow time? It is. Well, I'll wait till he comes back the second time to bounce him. But we're losing this game very quickly. That Wrath was absolutely devastating. Like, totally turned the tables on us. Okay, they didn't have a land to put in, which is good. So they're pretty far from removing. Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, I can't therapy. I'm going to chill, and I'm going to see what they do here. Because I do want to... I mean, they know I'm on black-white, right? Like, did they see black last game? Oh, yeah, because of the Cabal Therapy. So I'll Bowmaster end step, and if it resolves, like they could bring back Uro here, and then I can just Bowmaster ping it in response. Okay, they're not doing that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and attempt this. I think it's probably going to get countered, and I can only crank out 1 per turn cycle. I am going to get a basic here just because of Wasteland shutting me off black would be humiliating and completely unnecessary. They could do something to like stifle me here, which would be very strong. They don't. So let's go ahead and do this. Brainstorm or forever hold your brainstorm. Not really forever. They have tons of removal in their deck. Okay. Can I please go to my turn? Wow, that is a lucky draw. Kind of want a therapy first. I'm going to name Force of Will, unless they force this. Veil. Pretty devastating. Not going to lie. They get a card. It doesn't matter what we name here. Bowmasters can't even ping them because they have pro. So I'll ping my own army. This does grow before combat though. Oh, it shouldn't even make its name. Okay, and now I think I just go ahead and flip now. Because if I flip now and they Wrath, I don't actually lose the body. I can't even target them. If I Thoughtseize myself. They get to see that I have double Bowmasters in hand. I think that's probably worth it though. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can't target them. Yeah, I can only target myself, which does reveal my hand. They can't have endurance. Yeah, I'm going to wait till after combat to do this. They could have like, I'm going to respect the snake. They may have the snake. I don't think it's likely, but it's possible. And that would be humiliating to lose my Bowmaster, which is very important. So I'll sacrifice this. This puts this on the stack. I have to therapy myself. I have to reveal my hand, unfortunately. They plow in response, so we're not even going to get the trigger. Oh, devastation. Sure, it doesn't matter. Okay, and I'm going to name Brimsborough Midway Mobster. It used to be like Hans Run, I think was the first one. I'm not sure. They put air quotes around it, or they put quotation marks around his name, which is why he shows up first. Okay, my opponent gets to see that I have double Bowmasters and that I've squandered this entirely awesome opportunity to do a lot of damage to them through casting Cabal Therapy instead of just playing a second Orcish Bowmaster. It didn't occur to me that they could be playing Veil because they didn't Veil this, which would have... maybe not get a token, and would have also drawn them before they got the ping. Like they could have gotten I don't know. Like I definitely see that what they did was correct, but they didn't know that it was going to be correct is my thing. But maybe they I don't know how long they were sitting on that. Okay, Prismatic Ending. They know we have 2 more. Brainstorm. Okay, so they're going to just get ahead of that. Bowmasters is a very strong card against these types of decks. I would not be surprised if they have another thing. So I might actually just Bowmaster myself here so I don't lose the buff because it is pretty important. Another black source would be great. It's just like kind of a temporary thing though, because if they Wrath again, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Oh, they can Wrath the second time. Oh, devastation. Yeah, and I don't think we play anything until like they have cracked this, because if they get the thing and put Wrath back on top, we're like totally screwed. Oh, but they don't have double white. They don't have double white. I think it's right to go ahead and just play one of these out main phase. They know I have another one. Now I'm going to come in. They could bring back Uro, but I can just bounce him, and they're going to generate some creatures along the way. Generate some Bowmaster pings. I do think it's certainly tempting to play this out, but I think I need to hold on to it, and I just need to keep them always under the specter of a Bowmaster. Okay, they're fetching. So if this is the second Tundra, I'll know I'm about to get Wrath. I think they may have just pondered to try to tempt me to play it, but they got it the basic. Yeah, here's Wrath. Oh, the One Ring. Okay, now I am going to be aggro. It's one additional connection. I actually don't know that it's correct to do this because we don't hit them. And if they clear this, they can go crazy. I mean, this might be their last sweeper. They got a plains, which means they can't get it. Yeah, I think I actually am going to play this out. And I'm just going to hope to dodge. I think we lose the game if we don't be aggressive here. So now, when they tap this, they're basically putting themselves dead on board the subsequent turn. They're playing 4 One Rings in a 60-card deck. Like, I've seen lots of decks do what they're doing, but they're playing, like, a lot more creatures. Or, I'm sorry, they're playing, like, a 70-card, like, Yorion version. To play 4 One Rings in your stomping mana base deck is kind of crazy to me. It's probably not a consequential draw. We'll see. I mean, Voice of Victory, I think we need to wait, because if they Wrath our board, I need to have a follow-up threat. So Wrath is really the only thing that saves them here, I think. But it's devastating. And had I not played out the Orcish Bowmasters, they wouldn't be dead on board and facing Wrath as their soul out. Like, technically they could like plow here and, Prismatic End and stuff like that and stay alive. But Wrath is the main thing that would really help them here. We also have to worry about Endurance, which I'm pretty sure is in their 60, maybe 75. But I bet you they would have boarded a couple in just to like block. Even though I don't use my graveyard for anything other than therapy. But maybe therapy hit them so hard that they're like, oh, I need to be able to clear the therapy. This type of matchup is traditionally very bad for us. It's basically like a Jeskai type build, except it happens to be in green. And instead of playing Planeswalkers, they're just playing a bunch of One Rings. All right, and here comes the Wrath. Right on schedule, unfortunately. So glad I didn't play a voice. Okay, they are tapping this. Again, we know they have 4, so it's not likely that they don't have another one to save them, but they will be dropping to 6 from this one. Best thing we could draw would just be Bowmasters number 4. Yeah, let's do it. I mean, okay, yeah, we'll just see if, this shuts off the One Ring, so they take the life, they can play it, they can probably just plow. They've drawn so many cards. They probably just plow this out of the way. Ponder. Playing a lot of basics. So if anybody's curious, you didn't ask for my opinion, but like you should never play more than one of each basic. Like this is just like double green, really? Like this is legacy we're talking about here. Unless you're on a budget list that eschews the reserve list. Like in my opinion, the max you should play is one of each basic unless you just... I knew it was going to get dealt with. It's just a 1-for-1, and they are drawing a lot of cards each turn cycle. They're fetching to 5. They can't bring back Uro yet. They don't have quite enough mana. Okay. But they could bring back Uro next turn, but they're going to be at 2. Again, Bowmasters is very strong if we can draw it. That would be incredibly lucky. Really take anything here, Thoughtseize. It's not hurting us. I'll take their One Ring. They may force this. Oh, I should have freaking voiced first. That was a punt, because then I could have definitely taken their One Ring. Yeah, dude, I'm so dumb. And they freaking veil me. Oh my goodness. I'll let it happen. I mean, like, they are so totally going to get rid of this and just play another One Ring. Like, the odds of them not doing that when they've seen this many cards, I can't believe I punted that hard. I'm sorry, my excellent friends. I just want to concede. So it's like the ultimate shame concede. Like, I have a freaking thing that guarantees that I can steal your stuff. that I can steal your thoughts. But no, let's just see if you have interaction. That's so dumb of me. Because they dropped 2, but they can just bring back Uro. And like, even if I bounce Uro to hand, they can just recast him. So they're playing with fire, but I assume they have just another one lined up. Do that. I'm not going to keep playing into One Ring. I don't care how low they are in life. They will thread the needle. Okay, so I think there's a decent chance they had more than one at that point in the game, but I think Inquisition actually is really bad here, so I'm glad I'm keeping it out. This is super grindy. I think I'll bring back in the staff. Are there any mediocre cards that don't really do anything here that we can cut? I think it's okay. They're not going to do anything to our lands. I didn't see a single Wasteland. Maybe it's fine to just cut. Yeah, I'll cut the swamp. I mean, our deck's almost all white anyway. We got these 12, black. No, I'm going to cut a plow. We didn't really see anything to plow. I mean, it could be that Uro is literally the only plowable creature in their deck. And if that's the case, it may make sense to just bring a berry in, just more threats. In fact, are we just taking out all these? Like, Barragoyf is going to be able to deal with Uro. I don't know. Yeah, I think we do that. This may seem crazy, but like conventional wisdom is when you're up against like a control deck like this, like Jeskai, or in this case, Bant, you just want as many threats as you can put on the table. And you ideally want to put one threat at a time. This is insane. Okay, I'm going to definitely keep this hand. So normally I'd guide and then pride, but I do want to get ahead of a potential wrath. I want to know it's there. And if I give them even one turn, that turns on Veil. I can just play around Veil, like just not cast anything that is relevant to Veil, but I need to at least know it's there so that I don't cast subsequent removal spells into open green mana. This is like the perfect hand. Like this is the best imaginable hand with our deck, basically. Like Barragoyf we could draw later, but okay. So here, it's good to know about Endurance. It doesn't really affect us at all. They don't have anything going on if we take this Ponder, and we just eventually, I'll take the Ponder. And now, as far as we know, if they don't get lucky and draw like some interaction, we are going to swarm them with cats. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it. White Guide. White Pride. White Ocelot Pride, I should say. I just want to be very clear that that was not like some sort of Freudian slip. I was just dictating what I was doing. I did not mean to say something weird. Okay. Okay, and now my instinct is to go ahead and jam this. And I think it's actually better to jam the Voice of Victory here because we get that thing, and then next turn we get even more. I can guide it as well next turn. And because I'll have attacking creatures just whenever you attack. So I stack it to where I get the things, and then that'll be 4 additional energy. Huh. Yeah, I mean, this is the most mana efficient. All right, let's go in. Boom, boom, boom. I don't actually care. Like, if they're going to plow one of these, I'm going to buff this cat because it's like, I don't care about life gain in this matchup. And I just want to make it to where, like, they're not taking as much power off the board if they try to plow one of my enablers. Okay. So they take a bunch of damage. We gain a life. We get a cat that procs the Guided Souls. They can't ambush with Endurance. We'll know what's coming. It's not like it was going to be a big surprise. Flooded Strand. Okay. Plains comes out. I assume they're going to play it here. I'm just going to let them block whatever they want. If they forget and don't play it now, that's to our benefit, but surely they'll remember because I'm the only person dumb enough to forget Voice of Victory. Okay, they plow that. That's fine. So they could absolutely have double white here. I think it's worth going the rush down. Next turn they are going to be able to play One Ring, but I think we want to let them have the first activation. Let's see. We play this out. We only get one trigger. And but they're not going to be able to Endurance, so it doesn't really. I mean, if they have the freaking Wrath, they have it. Let's see. How much damage can we do? Yeah, I think it makes sense to just play keep these in our hand. So we can surprise later. And I can surveil. All right, so we don't get any triggers yet. But we're going to get trigger at the end step. With this on the stack, I'm going to go ahead and surveil. Just so I don't have to set a stop. I guess I technically should have done that at the end of their turn. Yeah, that'll go. Yeah, there's no reason to do it when I did it. Okay, so we gain a bunch of life. We get some energy. Next turn, we can attack with this through the endurance if we want to, but I'll just turn everything sideways because I think we have them dead on board. They fetch. I want them to invest in a one ring, tap it, and then only be able to use it once. That's what I'd like to have happen. Okay, they're getting a bunch of basics. Are they going to like back to basics me? Are they worried about me having Wasteland? I think they're going to Wrath for one here, and it'll just completely mess me up. It's unfortunate they drew that. Okay, that's fine. So again, like they haven't used the land. They still have a Vista in hand, so they could Wrath for 3 and kill everything and our Clarion Conqueror, but I just can't count as them drawing more cards. I'll play Caracas. Now I'm going to go ahead and play this out. This double triggers. We gain a bunch of life. I will go ahead and buff these. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, I don't care. I'm not going to even unclick off. Yeah, I'll use my energy. I don't think it matters. Put it on that. Okay, and then I'll use my energy, and I will put it on one of these, I guess. Okay, and it doesn't matter, but we did buff a bunch of stuff, and now we get a ton of cats. We get like 2 cats, I think. It's not a ton. We gain a lot of life. I mean, it's going to be hard for them to beat us. But again, like Wrath just ends the game, basically. It doesn't completely end it, but it's like we can play a Baragoyf, but a single spell and they're out from under it. Okay, that means we're not going to get Wrath. I think we just won. Unless they have Supreme Verdict. If they have Supreme Verdict, that also does it. They can one ring again to buy a turn cycle. Wrath for 2 doesn't kill our Clarion Conqueror. All right, it's not quite as bad. All right, let's see what we can do here. I'm going to Therapy. They don't have protection. I'm going to name Endurance because I know it's in their hand. And then I can Baragoyf and flash him back. Okay, we got the Endurance. So let's think about this. So we attack, they take 1, but then they bring back, well, they can Uro, but they can't bring him back. So their hand is Endurance, or Uro and 2 lands, I believe. A Forest and a Prismatic Vista. So we can let them Uro. Let's see, they 1, 2, 3 Uro. Then they go fetch. They can exile. They can Uro a second time. If we play the Baragoyf, it's unlikely that they draw into something that answers both of those. And then we just Caracas him out and we hit for lethal. So yeah, I do think we play at the Baragoyf here. Okay, and I'm not going to Therapy the Endurance out of their hand. They're dead to either of these. They will go up to 7 life, but then they're going to take 7. They're actually going up to 8, but they'll die to their 1 ring if they don't clear it. Oh, and yeah, because they have this plains, they can't actually bring him back. They can play at the Forest, but they won't have the blue, and green. They said, GG. All right, we got it. Round 3, we're 2-0. We're up against likely blue-black tempo. We already have our swamp in our hand. The most dangerous thing that could happen to us is we don't have our lands under us. So I'm not sure about this hand. This is a 4-lander. We have no forward action. It's fine because we have some pretty big bombs that we can drop later on. We do have a Wasteland to potentially disrupt them. I mean, I could just swamp and Therapy, naming what's the scariest card in their deck? Tamio? I think Tamio is a good name here. They mulled to 6. So they may be looking for a Tamio to undo that mull. And this doesn't show them what we're doing. They might assume we're just mono black here, which may affect their pondering decisions. The other option is we name Brainstorm. I think I'm just going to name Tamio just because, I mean, I have Tamio covered. I think I'm going to name, maybe if I name Ponder, they may be using Ponder to find the second land. Okay, we hit a Ponder. That's good. We would have hit Tamio too. Let's take a look at the rest of their hand. So they're very likely to just Thoughtseize us here, which will unfortunately almost certainly take our staff. But if it takes... Yeah, I mean, they may take our plow so that they can stick this because they do have a daze. But they didn't open... Ah, yeah, they took the staff. All right. So they can technically Tomio and like force protect it if they want. Oh, they don't have any... They don't have a second land. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and stick this Ocelot Pride. And they'll probably have to force that because it'll run away with the game very quickly. They don't force it. Well, I'll flashback next turn. I'm going to hope that they don't have like a Fatal Push or something that they drew. Because they did find a second land. Do you have a Bowmaster? If you have a Bowmaster, I'm just going to be so sad. Okay, that's fine. All right, well, I'm going to plow. Then I'm going to attack. Holy cow, that's so insane. Well, I'm going to play this out. I'm going to start with a force. And this is going to I'm going to name force here. I don't get the creature until the end step. So I'm not going to be able to therapy this turn. But I can therapy them every turn from now on and they scoop. Wow, that was solid. They knew that, like, because we just take the force and then we can plow Tomio and then there's like no opposition. Okay, so this is definitely Barragoyf matchup. And Prismatic Ending, get in the deck. Prismatic Ending is so good here against Tomio. All right, so I think the other thing we do, we don't want to be casting Thoughtseize against a tempo deck. So I can pull that out. But then, like, it's also kind of good to just rip out the therapies as well. We can keep these. I mean, Clarion beats face. I think we could play it just as a top end. Like, as long as we have our land under us, we are going to out apex them. I'm going to keep like this. So this is like the fair treatment. Like, you're a fair deck. Okay, I'm bringing in all my fair stuff. Oh, look at this hand. So nutty. I mean, it's a lot of land. I may actually intentionally fetch non-basics to try to get them to waste us because we have so many basics. So I'll use this Flooded Strand and I'll fetch, but I can fetch a swamp with this. So I think I might just use this to go fetch a scrubland and immediately Inquisition them. Also, we have an answer to Tomio on board, like if this can resolve. They have their own Bowmasters, but our Bowmasters hurt them way more than their Bowmasters hurt us. We don't really care if they have a Bowmaster out. It only affects staff. That's fine. Now, they could have switched to Blue-Black Reanimator, in which case taking Barragoyf is atrocious. But we didn't see anything to suggest that last time. The decks are so similar, it's not even funny, but... okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to end step Surveil, I think. It's unfortunately we drew that scrubland. We really didn't want it. So if we can get even one of our lands to trade for us, they're not coming out aggressive. So I think we're fine. And they know that we have this Barragoyf, which is a huge game piece here. So I would love... Oh, wait. I already have a freaking Caracas. That solves it. So I'm just going to go ahead and Surveil here. That I can play this out and I can Caracas. And if they want a daze, they can keep the Tomio around for a turn cycle. They could have a Bowmaster. Certainly possible. But they're not going to want to cast their Bowmaster first. All right, I'm going to give you an option. You can keep this around, but... Okay. And let's bounce the lady back to the hand. All right. That's fine. That's a 1-for-1. Tommy's back. Do you have the Brainstorm? They may Brainstorm when I attempt to Caracas, but then that gives me a window to jump in with the Bowmaster. I'm going to just keep playing out these non-basics. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to do this. If they want to Brainstorm, I will attempt to Bowmaster. Oh, they didn't do it. Okay. I'm going to just play this out. We're going to pass. Eventually, they won't be able to answer our stuff. Probably fetch Surveil. So if we start finding Wastelands, that's good, but I'd rather just not find any more land for the rest of the game. Not that I can control that. I do not have Brainstorm coming to save me. Merc. Merc is not that big of a deal if Barragoyf sticks. If Barragoyf doesn't stick, Merc's a very big deal. I think we could Inquisition first. I am going to do that. I'll know whether they have a daze. Okay, so I think we just take the Fatal Push. They're never going to get up to 3 lands, so Barragoyf will be fine. And if they take out my Pride, I don't care. It's the Barragoyf that's the important card here because it prevents them from attacking. All right. And they kind of have to clear this because if Barragoyf comes in and hits, it definitely wasn't correct to take the Engineered Explosives here. That's fine. This grows my Goyf. They are welcome to attack. They're going to play Tamiyo out. She's the last card in the grip. I can just bounce her back. So they haven't really accomplished anything here. They would be crazy to attack. All right. I mean, the game's over, frankly. That was just a slaughter. They said, come on, man. They said banger after banger. Yeah, I haven't even deployed my Bowmaster. It's okay. Like, they're seriously unfavored. As I like to say, like a non-blue fair deck will almost always beat a fair deck. So now we can just, I will bounce this to hand. I don't care if they flipper. I'm going to get my value. I'm almost certainly going to hit a creature here. I have 20 creatures in my deck. Yes, let's mill. This also probably grows the Goyf. There's Voice of Victory, which we can play immediately. Yeah, good games. All right, we're 3-0. Round 4, we're 3-0. We're up against an unknown opponent. Let's wish them luck. They're going to need it. This hand is freaking insane. I'm going to keep this. Let's see if they mull. If they start mulling aggressively, I might name like LED or something. But other than that, I think it's good to just get a little more information. They said, hey, by the way, big fan of your videos. All right. So being gifted with being on the draw, freaking awesome. We give away less information by leading with Karakas. It may not matter. If they waste their Karakas, I'd rather have the follow-up Scrubland so I have access to all my mana. So I'm going to leave it that. And we always play the guide immediately, in my opinion. This card is just the best creature since... Tamiyo is better, but the best non-bannable creature since DRC. Simian Spirit Guide, Elvish Spirit Guide, Violent Outburst. Oh, we're doing it already, huh? Okay. Yeah, that works. So I would not have named the correct card with Cabal Therapy here. Looks like we're getting some Rhinos probably. Yeah, that's fine. I think actually we might be able to race this. We're going to take 8, which is pretty good. They used like basically all their hand for that. We are going to be able to gain life here. So I think the play is just take everything and then try to stick Voice. They've got 3 cards left. One of those could be a Force. Ooh, AJANI. That's 2 bodies immediately. And then when we block, we get a dude. Yeah, I think it is correct to go ahead and get the AJANI going. Well, if we play Voice of Victory first... Yeah, this tap land is really screwing us here because we want to be able to cast spells and plow one. I guess I could plow and therapy. And then I lose 4 life. And I'm at 8. I mean, cards that they could have. Brazen Borrower could be a pain. That's usually in these decks. What was the card they exiled? They haven't cast any pitch cast spells yet. I mean, I could always like take something if they're about to go off again. If in an emergency. I do want to remove one of these from the table. I think it'd be greedy not to. Let's go ahead and therapy first. It sucks to have to blind therapy, but I think Brazen Borrower is a good call. They're almost certainly playing 4 Force of Wills, and they're maybe only playing 2 or 3 Force Negations, so I'm going to name Force of Will. Oh, Force Negation. But they don't have a card to pitch to it. They have a freaking Violent Outburst. If they draw a land, they could get 4 more dudes. Man, my instinct is to go ahead and attack and then name Violent Outburst. That would strand them with... Gosh, it sucks to like have to lose our life generating thing though. But like I do think we need to take that Violent Outburst. Like if they draw a land, we're just dead. There's no way we're going to deal with 4 of these. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and attack here. That needs to happen. And then I'm going to plow 1. Now we're going to therapy them. Sacking this. Naming Violent Outburst. Yeah, I mean, it had to happen, frankly. If they draw a Wasteland, it's going to be pretty brutal. Because next turn, what I want to do is AJANI, and then I can chump one, get a Planeswalker dude, create new bodies. I'll still take 3, but I'll still have lots of life. It doesn't look like they hit a land. Maybe they're doing it in after attacks. Man, that is like basically the fastest start possible from their deck. Okay, they have a Wasteland. It's bad. We lost our Black Source. So I am going to take an extra 4 damage here. That's really bad. I mean, that's a good card, but we can't use it. Unfortunately, we'll probably never be able to use it. This is a good card. It helps us gain life. However, I think we actually need land. I mean, we could play this out and Inquisition them, but we have to chump to survive. I don't like that. I'm going to bin this. So I think the correct sequence is... Oh, man, I think we actually might just be dead to this. I need to draw a freaking plow. If they drew another Wasteland, it's so catastrophic. Hopefully that's not the case. Okay. So we play at the Voice of Victory. We only take 1. We could also AJANI and just take 1. Oh man, I need to play this out and use it. I might as well do that. I am going to have to sacrifice the Voice of Victory. Like, frankly, the card that gets us there is AJANI, not Voice of Victory. Voice of Victory just doesn't do anything, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and try this, see whether it works. I'll probably take the Elvish Spirit Guide rather than the Force Negation. Wow. They had 2 of them. So I'm definitely going to take 1 just because if they draw a Cascade spell, we're dead. And now, fetch. We will get a Scrubland. We need all of our colors for sure. So if we don't get the... So the thing is, the creature with AJANI is a 2/1. I guess I could have played it out, but like, where do we go from there? Maybe it was correct. Well, we would have had to fetch. Yeah, we just had to play this out and absorb some damage, and maybe we get lucky and find a plow. Like, that's basically our path to victory. Technically, we could use AJANI as like a really janky time walk and only lose 1 life from that. Trying to think of what else we could draw here. We have 3 mana. We don't have Baragwayf in our deck. It's definitely coming in. Okay. Oh, actually, this is pretty good. So we go guide. Holy cow, that's so freaking good. I needed the land earlier, which is why I binned it. I mean, this, like, of all the cards we could have drawn, this has got to be like the best sequence, basically. So I get 2 life. I'm back up to a sprightly 4. Now, I could just block this, drop to 1, and then this comes in. I create another one. I go up to 3. I can attack. I've got a 1 draw. We need to draw something. But I am going to just lose this and drop to 1. I mean, we could just throw everything in front of it. I don't think that's correct, though. Well, let's see. If we throw everything in front of it, we kill it, and then they can't kill everything, right? No, they can't. They can only kill... So they'll probably kill this and leave us with a 2/1. That's better than nothing. If we keep this around and we draw, like, really anything, but if we just draw a land, we're just sitting ducks, basically. We play it out and we don't have enough power. This is like really our one chance to get this off the board. I'm going to triple block. I know this is cowardly, but I feel like their deck, their card quality is not like spectacular. It's possible that we work through their pile. Like it's possible that we rip better than they do. Unfortunately, there's no option to bounce, but like that would happen after damage. So yeah, so essentially this is like a 4/5 that we put in front of it. Okay, wow. They did exactly what I expected them to do. They could just borrow this out of play and then, yeah, they're going to go get an island. They've got a hedge maze now. Okay, they're playing it. So they essentially have Cascade again. Holy cow, that's so freaking lucky. Oh my goodness. That is so lucky. And if one of these dies, we're going to be hitting for a lot. Now, being bounced is not the same as dying. So if they have Brazen Borrow, they can just bounce it out of existence, so that doesn't trigger AJANI, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do is end step, I will bounce them back to my hand if they don't do anything here. They may be able to counter him back on the way back down, but like just going wide with bodies seems really good. Fire. Okay, well, I'm going to bounce him. I think that was a punt. I think they just forgot that I could do that. Like, that doesn't make any sense unless they have like some crazy strategy that I haven't thought of. I'm not going to be casting this Thoughtseize maybe ever. Wow, we're doing it. I'm going to keep coming in. What an engine. I just threw this. I was reluctant to put this in my deck, frankly. Because there's so much Wasteland, and we've encountered a lot of Wasteland in rounds 3 and rounds 4. Okay, well, I'm going to keep doing it. I mean, they could absolutely have a force or something here, but I'm not going to not do that. Let's take them off. I think we take them off green because like they have Cascade. Well, oh no, that was a mistake. That was a mistake because they already have Elvish Spirit Guide. So that was a punt. Okay, they force here. It's just a matter of time before they did that. The card they exile was probably Force Negation. Yeah. Okay, so their hand is Elvish Spirit Guide, 1 unknown. Let's come in for 6 here. This might be enough material. They can't have Cascade this turn. Like they could Cascade next turn, but they can't like end step it. Forest. Okay, they have the mana to do Cascade, but it has to be the Violent Outburst Cascade. Plow basically means we survive if they Cascade. I could Thoughtseize here. They may Cascade in response. I'm not going to risk that. I'll just plow one of the Rhinos if they Cascade here. Please don't Cascade. Okay, one more turn cycle. One more turn cycle. I mean, if I do Thoughtseize, I could take the Elvish Spirit Guide at the very least. I don't think they're going to end step it. I think they would have blocked. I do think that I do this. No, wait. They have Fire Ice in their deck. I can't risk it. I can always plow if I need to just gain 2 life real quick, but that won't work against Rhinos. Holy cow, we won that game. I did not think that that was possible. I'm glad I captured that on film. I think my opponent had an extremely strong start. They misplayed on trying to burn out AJANI, and that made all the difference. So Deafening Silence does shut down the Cascade. I think I'm going to bring it in. I know that sounds kind of weird, but we're taking out Thoughtseize for sure. You just don't run these against aggro decks. They are playing Lorien Revealed. Bowmaster is live. Actually, Inquisition is not that great because most of their cards are like more than 3 mana, but they're Cascaders with 3 mana if we get this in turn 1. I don't really like Therapy here either. I think we can go down Therapies. Prismatic Ending does end one of their dudes. I don't think it's very good though, other than that. If we bring in Conqueror, like they could have Minskimbu is a card that some of these decks have. But that's the only thing I can think that Clarion Conqueror would be good against, and it's actively bad against our staff. So I don't think we play it. I think we're just going to go like this. We're going to be on the draw, so they may be able to go crazy before Deafening Silence. Ironically, if we put Deafening Silence on the stack previous game, they would have been able to deal with it. Oh, man, this hand sucks. I mean, it's got Ocelot Pride. It's got mana. But I'm going to keep it on the strength of Deafening Silence, but it's very possible that Deafening Silence doesn't work. Also, if they play the other Cascading dude, I didn't think about this, but he's a creature, so Deafening Silence doesn't actually stop the Cascade effect from the Shardless Agent. But I'm going to hope that we can get a force off of the Deafening Silence because the second one doesn't do a damn thing. Northlands of the third. So bad. All right, well, we're going to get an Plains here because I like getting wasted is not where I want to be. And let's hope that this works. That they don't just Cascade immediately. Wow. Okay, that's good. But it doesn't stop Shardless Agent. But we have, this can go get Basic Swamp. Okay. We can get Basic Swamp. We can Voice. I think Voice is pretty good actually because a lot of times they want to end step Cascade. Well, they're not going to be able to do that anyway because of, are we looking at Shardless Agent? I do have Plow and a Pride, so I can kind of fight through some of it. Oh, they exile Crashing Footfalls. Okay. So we have a few turns before that becomes a problem. Shadowy Backstreet. I don't think, I mean, they might be able to bounce this out of play. Is it? I'm just thinking like, okay, I don't think we need to hold up plow. I would like to get this out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and try this. They're not going to be playing Dazed. They might be. Okay, that worked. All right. Let's keep that. That's pretty good. And next turn, we're going to be able to voice and do that dude. It's not that big of a deal, actually, because we have the white mana. So I think this is kind of like almost a wasted turn cycle. Okay. So now we just play our guide. I mean, it is a big deal in the sense that we can't multi-spell anymore. We don't have a way to get rid of that. I'm just going to, like, I think they may have the card that blows up one of your lands, which would suck if they do have that. Let's see if this works. Okay, good. Now we just come in, and I think we're going to win the game pretty handily here because we're going to get, like, a lot of life gain. They are going to get their trigger end step during their upkeep, the suspension. But they've got like several turns, and we're going to have a lot of life. We're going to be hitting them with this flying Ocelot Pride by then, hopefully. But like if they have fire, it's pretty bad. If they have fury, it's also really bad, which is a card they play. Brotherhood's End. 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. Well, that does kill our army, unfortunately. So now we're really just down to Voice of Victory. And I don't think that's going to do damage before this comes online. So we're going to have to fight through the Rhinos. Bowmasters is fine, but we can't cast it. So I will play this out. And we will play out this Voice of Victory. And we'll pass. I mean, I could have definitely played a second Deafening Silence. But like they could bounce this out of play and then still ram their thing through. I don't think we're going to win this game, though. I think this Blood Moon is very strong. I did have a window to go fetch the basic swamp. It just didn't occur to me that they would be playing it against a 2-color deck. But it is going to help them win. Oh, wow. They have another one. So the good news is there's only one left in their deck. Staff. I will take it. I mean, like, we don't really have any other option. Like, we can draw an extra card per turn cycle. Hopefully they force this. It's actually not a big deal. But it looks like it'd be a big deal. But with being gated on 1 white mana, they don't know that we only have 1 white mana in our entire deck. I'm going to come in for a hug. Don't endurance me. They shouldn't be able to. Okay. They do have all 3 of their colors, though. So here comes the first spell. They're not going to be able to cast anything else this turn. So I can attack in the air with the Spirit Token. That's really all I can do. I do want to plow one of these. You can't cast... Oh, you can cast creatures. Yeah, that's a creature. All right. Well, let's see what we draw. I mean, if I just organically drew a swamp, that'd be insane. This one, they do see each other, but like it's just not that impactful. I think the main thing we need to do is just get this out of play. I'm going to... Yeah, I think I have to like plow one and then double block this. And then I'll just lose the spirit. This will survive. And then I can attack back. I should plow now because it's protected. I definitely don't want them to force this. I am really worried about dealing with the second one, though. Yeah, if they attack, I will definitely double block that. And if they have fire, they can blow me out here. Not really. No, yeah, they could. No, I don't think they can blow me out. What is this? Violent Outburst. +1/+0. So it does increase the attack power, and they're going to get a bunch more dudes. And we're going to take an extra 1. We are very far from victory here, but we are going to kill this thing. Wait, do they not have another one? They only have 2 in their deck. Do they have 1 in their hand? All right. Well, that's freaking lucky. Oh yeah, they put all 3 damage on the Voice of Victory. Okay, that makes sense. All right. So we still have this. I mean, as far as cards we could draw, this is pretty damn good. They can force here. I mean, we could just draw another one. We've been lucky as hell. They should force this. Yeah, they do. I'm not going to chump here. It's trample anyway. I'm just going to swing in. We are very much looking like we're going to die to this Crashing Footfalls. I can't even think, like, if we drew another AJANI, that would be good, but it's not going to save us. We're not even close to killing them. They have even more stuff. Okay, that's fine. Couldn't answer the first one. Okay, Arid Mesa doesn't do anything. I mean, like, let's think practically. What can save us here? Playing a staff does not help us at all. It gives us another 1/1 body that does nothing. I'm actually going to use this just to draw a little deeper. And I will attack because I'm not going to block yet. Like, this will absorb exactly 1 damage. Actually, we're looking at 12 damage next turn. I don't think we can win. Yeah, I'm just going to concede and save everybody some time. There's not a victory path. Even if we drew the swamp, like they have trample. Okay. Wow. I mean, those things were a freaking menace. Like Prismatic Ending would have been pretty good there. Clarion Conqueror wouldn't have done a damn thing. We could have cast it, but it's just going to absorb 3 damage and die. AJANI's probably the best card in our deck. Bowmasters, I do believe in it. I just need to aggressively fetch. We did get like 3 Deafening Silence, 2 of which were redundant. I think had I had access to black mana, it wouldn't have even mattered that much. I drew like 1 black spell that game. Okay, so this can get black, and then we can therapy. We could name Blood Moon just to make sure we don't die to it. We can't make sure because they could rip it, but this hand is fine. Yeah, I'm more worried about Blood Moon than I am about their things because, well, I'm worried about that too. But we do have, I mean, this is a good hand. This is a keep. We can Bowmaster and then sack, depending on what's in their hand. But I do need to go ahead and hit them with this therapy. And unfortunately, I do have to name Blood Moon. It just solos us. I'm not going to count on us somehow winning with just a single swamp. Okay, Blood Moon. Come on. Let's take a look at their hand here. So we didn't hit. They actually have a pretty slow hand. So it's going to be like a turn 3 Cascade. They have a Crashing Footfalls they can go ahead and suspend. Nothing we can do about that. It may make sense to play Staff rather than play Orcish Bowmaster. Because Staff I can immediately flash back and that limits the impact of Fire Ice. This is Lorien revealed. Oh, they just suspend the Crashing Footfalls. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's almost certainly the correct sequence. So with the Fire Ice, they can't technically do it next turn because they've got this ETB tap land. So we can get in for a cheeky point. And then we get in for... Wait, we can... No. Yeah, we could double. Okay. Hear me out. You may be saying, you're freaking crazy. What if they draw a Spirit Guide? They have a Hedge Maze and they have a Lorien revealed. Like these are all ETB tap lands. They have to draw a non-tap land. If they do, they probably win. But if they don't, we're going to have so many freaking cats. Because what I'll do is I will play this and then next turn cycle, I'll play another one and then I'll attack. And I can also play the Bowmasters in Flashback Therapy. But if I play the Bowmaster, or if I play the Staff now, I can flashback. I mean, they've got double. Well, we just have to flashback and name Lorien revealed, I think. Sadly. I think that's the correct play. As much as I want to get these Ocelot Prides out, I think it's too risky. Like, we name the Lorien revealed, and maybe they don't rip a land for a while. They've got a Hedge Maze to help them. Oh my goodness, this is the decision that's going to decide whether we win or lose this match, okay? So on one hand, we play out Ocelot Pride. They can't do anything unless they naturally draw a land, then in which case they can fire. They may have already drawn a land. Yeah, because it's 2 turn cycles. I think it's safer to just Staff and Therapy, naming Lorien. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the conservative play, which is usually the correct play. It's not as it like highlight really, but we've already had some highlight reel type plays. So we'll sack that. I love Cabal Therapy. Of course, if it were Thoughtseize, we actually would have gotten something last turn. I have no idea how to type that diacritic thing inside MTGO, inside a Windows virtual machine, inside my Mac. I wonder actually if my Mac input strategy would work here. No, it does not. And in Mac, you can just hold the key and then it brings up all the various diacritics. I'm sorry, I'm wasting time. Okay, revealed. We're going to hit that out of their hand. They did draw another land, so they would have just been able to play Wasteland, and then that would have been that. And also, they do have a Wasteland, so they can waste our Scrubland taking us off black, but then they don't have... I think I chose wisely here. Let's update over here. So I think they may waste us just expecting to win with these Crashing Footfall creatures. But if we get our Ocelot Pride out and start gaining life, that might not come to pass. So actively hope that they waste me. They don't know that I have another land. And then I'm just going to keep on trucking. But actually, if they waste this, I can only play 1 Ocelot Pride. So I don't get nearly as many cats. I predict that they're going to just waste instead of playing Hedge Maze here because it's like the high kind of like EV play if I don't have a land. Wasteland is one of the hardest, most skill testing cards in Legacy, in my humble opinion. And it's also one of the most important. I mean, can you imagine what Legacy would be like if Wasteland didn't exist? It'd just be 12 posts everywhere. Okay, so they are holding up fire, unfortunately. If they make the mistake of passing the turn, I can always activate in my upkeep and draw a card. So they definitely don't want to make that mistake. Okay, and now I can go ahead and activate here. How many? I think it's just like 2 more turns. Yep. We've got a little bit of time. But next turn, I mean, they need to stick another land as well. I think they're hoping to draw a land. So I think the quick play here is go ahead and do this. Okay, Plow's not bad at all. So I'm just going to Bowmaster in the end step. And then that will probably get them to use their fire. And that's the goal, is get them to use their fire. Oh, they had it. They had the Spirit Guide. Okay, so we're going to be dealing with these. I think the simple thing to do is just plow one of them. Okay, got to get rid of all this stuff down here. I definitely want to do it now while they're tapped out. Man, so many of these things. All right, so let's set a stop here. I actually don't need to because this Violent Outburst will go on the stack. I'm going to go ahead and do this with this on the stack so they gain 1 fewer life. I will get the planes here. I will go ahead and plow that. Okay, and now it becomes a 5-4, and then we're going to take some damage, and then we've got 1 turn, basically 2 turns before this comes. Okay, so they're using their Hedge Maze. They have Shardless Agent, but I don't know. I mean, I assume they have a 3rd one of these. I don't know how they missed one last time, but we're in a lot of trouble because next turn they basically have this. We need to draw a Wasteland. We're taking 4. I have to bait them to use this fire. This fire is so strong. Okay. I'm going to play this out. And I think I just chill. Technically, I wait till upkeep and then I plow. The reasoning is if they have forced negation, they can't use it. But I can't take any more damage. Like I have to keep my life total flush because I'm going to be dealing with an entire new wave of these in a sec. And my hope is that so I play this Bowmaster out. Yeah, let's go ahead and plow here before they can force negate. They can Shardless Agent here, unfortunately. I have to get them to use fire. If I get them to use fire, then I can play both of these Ocelot Prides out. But it won't matter if they have a bunch of stuff on the table. Yeah, it sucks. What can I say? I'm just going to end step these Bowmasters. Yeah, I mean, they're going to have 16 next turn. It's going to take us a miracle to fight through all this. But we do get a draw off the staff. Let's go ahead and play this now. So their hand is completely unknown, other than Fire Ice. Okay, that procs the staff. Let's see if we can draw like AJANI would be good. Arid Mesa doesn't do anything. There we go, AJANI. And now, I think we just stick all these things. I think we just dump. Because they're going to be able to kill potentially 2 of them. But it will proc AJANI. White. Black. AJANI. Now here, they're not necessarily going to freak out about this. If they have the force. Which they can't have the force because they have... Well, Fire Ice actually does work. Because that procs. And as much as I would like to draw a card, I do need to go ahead and play these out. We have the City's Blessing. We don't gain life, unfortunately. But next turn, we can start gaining life. So I suspect they're going to Fire Ice these and just flip him. And we don't really have a choice. Like if we flip him, then they'll attack him. We're not quite dead. Gosh, this is such an impressive game. The great news is if somehow our Ocelot Prides do survive. So I am going to go ahead and block here. If I do any sophisticated blocking, they have Fire Ice and they blow me out. I am hoping they just Fire Ice this. Because if they do that, I might be able to find a way to clear some of these. It would take a miracle. But like I draw plow and I tap plow and I draw that or I don't know. But this is going to flip AJANI here unless they Fire Ice now. I mean, it's going to kill it's going to flip AJANI either way, unless they kill AJANI, but that's going to kill their dude at least. Okay. No surprise. AJANI was good for some action, though, in terms of like clearing this and getting that pesky card out of their hand. Okay. Oh, doesn't help enough. Let's see what we can do here. Voice of Victory. We don't gain life. I mean, I could send one in and I get some dudes. I'm going to go ahead and waste them off of red completely. And I'm going to go ahead and attack. Am I going to survive this turn? I actually don't think it's possible for me to survive. So I gain a life. I get some blockers. I don't think I'm going to survive. I can't tap this. Yeah, I think we're just dead to 16 trample. Because we're only going to get like 2 dudes, unfortunately, because only one of these survived. Yeah, the game's over. I'm just like in denial, basically. Yeah, like even though we've proc this, like we can't tap it until next turn cycle, and they're about to attack for 16, and we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait. 9. No, we don't survive. We lose by 1 life if I block with everything. Yeah. Let me just, I'll go ahead and do just to show you, just to make sure I'm not going crazy here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we gain 1. Yeah, we're dead. There goes the trophy. Yeah, but I mean, if I'm going to lose, I want to lose to a cool deck like this, right? So, yeah, I think we're just like 1 shy. Is it not going to show our left? Yeah, just 1 shy. Well, technically 2, because you can't survive at 0. So, we tried. All right, opponents likely on Cephalid Breakfast. We have to mulligan this hand. We are on the play. Gosh, these hands are terrible. My goodness, can we get some lands? I mean, this hand would be fine if it had land, but it doesn't, so we have to mulligan it. I mean, we have 22 lands in our deck. Come on, deck. The first 3 rounds were golden, and I wanted to finish strong with the 4-1. Breakfast is a very formidable deck. However, I believe we're well disposed to be able to tango with it. They kept 7, so they're going to have 8 cards. All right. This is Thoughtseize into Cabal Therapy. We have to decide. Like, we're definitely keeping this. We have to decide. Like, AJANI Therapy is like a good path. Well, we lose Guide, but I kind of think we need some sort of miracle like that to be able to be in the game. So I don't think we can take the Thoughtseize. Staff gives us some like grind. I don't think Guide is important enough. Yeah, I'm going to do it like this. I just can't risk us not finding a second land and casting this Nakatl on schedule. So I think the right name here is just Nomad Encore, because that sets up both of their cards. But Force is also a safe bet. I'm going to choose Force of Will, because like even if they are not on Breakfast, they're probably on a Force of Will deck. Okay, we did get a Force of Will. Yeah, and it's looking like Breakfast. That is great. That's a great start. That's what we needed. They don't have the combo in hand. They do have Tamio, which is annoying as hell. Yeah, that's fine. So unless they happen to draw a Force, we are going to get a flipped AJANI. Okay. Voice of Victory is good with Staff and with AJANI. Wow. Like, this is a great sequence of draws. Just please don't force this. This really would set us back if they force it. Okay, and now I'll just name Ponder, which is the only other card in their hand that we know about. And we can immediately use the ability. And some, guess what doesn't have Summoning Sickness? Planeswalkers. Wow, like for a mold of 5, this is going swimmingly. And I don't know if I've ever used that adjective before. They drew a Nomad Encore. Okay, well, that's a redundant. Yeah, we'll just do that. And then we're going to need a few more creatures before we can start going crazy. I think we need to play the voice first, because that gives us the ability to kill Tamio. And of course, because it's Breakfast, if they just randomly draw like one of their Cephalid Illusionists, we just die instantly. Okay, their hand is mostly land. Let's go and see what we can do here. Another land would be welcome, especially like a Wasteland. Staff is okay. going to go ahead and do this. We can't attack until next turn. I'm going to go ahead and attack, and I'll just make another dude. I don't think it helps. I mean, this might actually, like, putting a plus on... This is the turn to do it, too. On every cat you control. I mean, we're definitely, like... We could cat a Cataclysm next turn and clear this. I don't think it's correct. Because we can just, like, blow up, like, a creature every turn while making cats. Yeah, I'm just going to do this. Next turn, they will be able to create a potential blocker for voice, and it'll be pretty big. But then we'll still have the red things, and we can kill this afterward. If they find a cantrip, they can flip her. That's really annoying for our deck to deal with because it completely nerfs all of our creatures. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do it, though, because I can, like, force them to choose. I should have done that before combat to get an extra point, but it probably won't matter. I mean, realistically, it will matter because, like, how are we winning? By doing combat damage. We know they have a land, so they can definitely make a dude here and block our Voice of Victory. They come in. I would love to find a plow here just to be able to clear this so I can get my attack on. All right, what can we do here? First things first, I think it's important that we go ahead and do this before we take any action. So we'll get a dude. Now, if we attack for Voice of Victory, we can hit them. We can hit them for a lot, and then we can... this is just each opponent, so we don't lose our creatures. But then they'll be able to attack back in. We have this blocker that can chump. I think we need to be bold here. I just need to get this Tommy off the table. This will multi-proc the staff. It sucks, but we need a red permanent, and we don't get a red permanent if we don't attack with this. Yeah, here comes the dude. So this procs. Okay. So we can do 4 damage and create a cat here. And take out Tomio. I do think we hit Tomio here. I definitely could have just hit them in the face for 4 or 5, I guess, technically. But killing Tomio is a higher priority. I'm going to wait. I will need to fetch here. So let's die. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fetch, and I'm going to use this just because there's a small possibility of the needle here. Oh no, I freaking... I accidentally passed priority. Luckily, they got Shuko anyway. If they have Nadu, the game's just over anyway, probably. Like, they would have to play with the Nomad. They could get, like, 4 triggers here, but if they find a land, they can Nadu. Yeah, of course they drew Nadu. And they have the extra white. Yeah, I'm going to concede. Okay, that sucks. But we weren't winning that, frankly. They would draw, like, so many cards because we seen the Nomad, so they would get at least 6 cards, and then they get more. Okay, so Clarion Conqueror, get in the deck. This is not a Deafening Silence matchup. Prismatic Ending is good here. Baragoyf is pretty good. It completely stops their Construct game. If we're doing that, maybe we take out Staff. We're not going to try to grind against them. Staff's not great anyway. And they do have exile-based removal. We could take out AJANI. If we take out AJANI, then Clarion Conqueror is fine. Voice of Victory makes these uncounterable, which is good. I think we take out AJANI just because it clashes with Clarion Conqueror. How many? We have 22 creatures. I think that's enough. Baragoyf's like so strong if the game goes longer. And we're going to try our best to make the game go longer. Don't bring in Leyline in this matchup. Don't bring in any graveyard interaction. Because like it wouldn't have mattered there. And it usually doesn't. Usually they win with Nadu. Okay, so this is pretty good. Yeah, we definitely want to Thoughtseize immediately. This is Snapkeep. We can Thoughtseize immediately, and then we can Inquisition and Guide, and then we can Clarion. That seems like a pretty solid sequence. And guess who's not mulling to 5 this game? Hopefully that matters. We're getting in underneath Veil, too, if they have it. I mean, they had a turn 2 natural. This is pretty scary. And they can actually give activated abilities, but this doesn't matter unless they put... yeah. So, I mean, Shuko is the thing that like makes this hand work. We could Shuko first, and then we could... they could brainstorm. No, they can't brainstorm. They have 1 freaking land. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna just destroy them. Their mana base is their weakness, and they kept a greedy hand. I don't blame them for keeping this hand, but we are gonna wasteland them while we go to Guide of Souls land. I'm never going to give them a chance to cast that Brainstorm, hopefully. They've been a Brainstorm as well. All right. Let's do this. I'm going to play out the guide. Therapy. We could therapy them as well. I do want to take this off the table. They may scoop to that. No. Okay. So I'll just play this out. I'm going to do all that stuff next turn. I mean, they are going to get to Brainstorm here if they find a land, but I need to get the clock going. They didn't find a land. Okay. I feel very confident that we're going to win this one. Okay. Yeah, I think we just go ahead and Kozlik. We can therapy now, and I'll just name Brainstorm because I don't want them finding more land. I don't care if they take this out. Okay, they had double narc on me, but that's not a good draw. Okay. And then I'll just attack for 1. If they do have Prismatic Ending in their hand, so they could potentially kill this, which would suck. But I don't want them to draw even deeper. Okay, they whiff on land again. So I think the simple thing to do is go ahead and Voice of Victory kills faster than Clarion Conqueror and gives me a chance to go ahead and take another card from them. Yeah, I mean, it kills at the same rate, but it'll kill faster because they have a Prismatic Ending. They have Nomad. I could respect Nomad just in case, like they do, build the combo. I think I do. They could Soul Cauldron, but that takes a long time. So this procs. Then we hit for 1. Then we're going to be hitting for a lot. Yeah, they scooped to that. Okay, that was a great game. Brought to you by our opponent getting greedy, frankly. They should have known that we were a Wasteland deck. I don't know if we wasted them in game 1. All right, I'm going to keep it the same. Clarion Conqueror is insane here. Bowmasters kills some of their enablers. The discard heavy, this dies if they just have the freaking thing like they did last game. But Wasteland on their land, I'm not going to throw this back. Bowmaster's really good against them. It does take out one of their combo pieces if they play it out proactively. So what I'm hoping to do, okay, unfortunately I'm not going to be able to interact with that, but that means we're not going to get turn 2'd. Okay, so I'll just play this out so we can surveil, and we'll pass. They are going to surveil themselves, but that's okay. So I would love to Bowmaster something, but there's a decent chance that they just have, a Daze. Ponder. If they do get Tamio, we do have Caracas. Caracas has been an all-star this league. So we'll go to 19. We'll surveil. Got to pick my kids up in 11 minutes and take them to basketball practice. So I'm going to try to play this one quickly. Dodge the land that we don't want. That's great. Oh, it's so good. I think the play is to just waste them off this land and hope that they don't have more. They can definitely surveil here. I will wait and see what they do. I can wait till upkeep. I want to waste them off white, and I don't want them to grab another white source. Unfortunately, I can't waste in response or anything like that. Yeah. Or I can't Bowmaster in response if they Brainstorm. All right. There's the Urza Saga, which is annoying, but it will go away. Unlike the other lands, it is a disappearing land. I'm going to play this out. I'll save this. It doesn't really matter. Actually, I should have played this out because it just fetches the thin. And we're going to Bowmaster in the instep. And that's probably going to get forced. And then we're going to Clarion Conqueror. And that should win the game unless they have exactly Plow. All right. Do you have another land? You do. Okay, and you might be saying, oh, but you could use the Bowmaster to hit their thing. I need to bait out a force. Because, if they force one of these cards, it's devastating. They may already have, a Nadu in hand, and they're going to go get a Shuko, and they may not even care about any of this stuff, but they will care about Clarion Conqueror, and I don't want them to stop it. So if we Ocelot Pride, it's not good enough. Voice of Victory would be good if we thought we had a turn to set up, but the practical reality is they're going to have Nadu next turn, and Conqueror is the only thing that can stop that. I'm going to go Conqueror. I could Nadu, and then we just Nadu in response, but they still get 2 cards. Yeah, maybe it was Voice of Victory into Caracas. I think that was actually the play here, because they can just force this or Plow it and then just move on with their day. Yeah, I think I punted there. Okay, they are fetching. This doesn't shut off enchantments. All right. I'll just attack for 1. I don't want this to get taken out by, like, they could easily trade a construct for this. I think they just have a plow and they're just going to insta plow me. If I had Voice of Victory, it probably wouldn't have mattered because they would have just plowed on the other turn, but they weren't going to be able to force it. Okay. They could even Prismatic End it if they have a green source. But now they have to figure out what they want to do. Like, they could still do, because they got the Shuko, then they could plow, and then they could start Nadu suiting up, and they can even do it to that. It's going to be ugly. This deck is very difficult to beat reliably when you're a fair deck. I think it's actually pretty hard to beat even when you're a Force of Will deck. All right, and I can tell you that we're dead because they're not even bothering making a construct here. All they have to do is clear this. I don't think they play a basic forest, so this might be Prismatic Ending. Self Illusionist. Okay, where's your plow? There's your Nomad. This surviving is now paramount. Holy cow. All right, so what I'm going to do, let's think about this. I mean, it would have been easy if we just drew another one, but unfortunately we didn't. So my thinking here is we just start Barragoyfing a lot. I don't think playing Voice of Victory really changes anything. I think Caracas is probably the play, and then we just Barragoyf. And if they counter it, that's fine. We need a miracle. I will attack in the air. Can't attack with anything else. I need to get their life total down. Barragoyf's going to put them in the abyss pretty quickly here. We have Nadu covered, but they can just win off this if they clear this. Like, if they find a plow, we're just dead. Good game. I'm not even going to play it. I mean, like, they could have something stuck in hand. Yeah, man. So devastating. All right. I don't think they would keep doing it. Like, and you might be saying, oh, you should have Fairy Macabre in your sideboard, but I don't think it's that great of a card. Okay, they have the Oracle, they have the Dread Return. That's the game. Okay, so let's do the post-deck check. Like, this started off with a great league, and I do think that this game was close, but they did find the plow, and that's that. That happens. I also want to point out that I did a league before this, and I 0-2 dropped it. And I do that sometimes just because I get play points from MTGO. I just want to be, like, totally responsibly disclosing, like, I think this is a mid-brew, frankly. What is the weakness of the deck? Well, Clarion Conqueror is great, but you don't have a way to protect him. If you don't have, like, Days or Force in your deck, all it takes is 1 white mana and this instant that almost every white deck plays, like basically every white deck, and then you don't have any protection anymore. With Null Rod, we would have locked that out, but Null Rod wouldn't have saved us from Nomad. I do think Clarion Conqueror is a great card, but it sucks not playing blue. What can I say? Like, not playing blue is really harsh. Because you're spending your mana trying to answer other things. And every time you cast a Thoughtseize, you're like negative tempo because you just paid a life. Or the life doesn't even matter. You paid a mana and your opponent didn't spend any mana. And it's like you're paying 1 mana to 1-for-1 your opponent, right? So that is the weakness of discard. But it's kind of necessary against AB combo. I do think that this, like, if we played a bunch of matches against Breakfast, like a really good Breakfast player, and if I played correctly, which I didn't necessarily in those matchups, I do think that we would be favored just by virtue of it's hard. They have to put together an A and a B. My opponent didn't keep a good hand game 2, and we won that. But we could have easily won that third one if they hadn't drawn a plow or if we had drawn a second Clarion Conqueror. So maybe it's correct to play 4 of these, but it doesn't feel correct when you're trying to waste your opponent and also your opponents are wasting you. It's just very hard playing 3 drops. So the main thing I want to express is it's hard out there. Legacy is freaking brutal. And you might think that your Guided Souls and Ocelot Pride is going to get you there. But if you don't have, like, the days and the force to, like, essentially keep them on the table and keep other things that can block them off the table, as we saw in the Rhino matchup, the reason we lost that matchup was we could never profitably attack in with Ocelot Pride because it would have died. And if it dies, it doesn't stick around to get its trigger at the end of the round, at the end of the turn. Bowmaster didn't really do a lot. We don't know what it did in the Breakfast matchup, but I definitely think Bowmaster is weaker than it used to be. Like, nobody's playing 1-drops except for us. Really, my mono or my blue-white deck and this deck both play Ocelot Pride. But I mean, is that really, like, technically you can snipe like a story? Nobody plays this card. This card is slow, frankly. I think you could take this out and you could just replace it with more banger 2-drops. But there is a combo here, and we did draw some cards off of it. It wasn't bad. I think the mana base, just of an unfortunate reality of playing non-blue mana bases is you don't have access to Ponder, so you can't fix your draws, and you end up flooding, and you end up not, and also getting screwed. And we mulled to 5 because we just got terrible hands, and there was nothing we could do to fix those. I think that does happen occasionally. Again, a lot of these things are fundamental to Magic the Gathering as a game, and not just to the Legacy format. Baragoyf didn't do a whole lot, but we did connect. Okay, there was that game against Blue Black Tempo where we had the Baragoyf, but like frankly, after we plowed the Murktide, I think we were probably good anyway. I think we would have won that game. Baragoyf continues to give me the impression that he's win more. I would put him in your sideboard though, because he's really good against specifically Moonstompy, which we didn't face today, and probably like Eldrazi and stuff like that. But the big problem with Baragoyf and why he's not nearly as good as Murktide is he's a 3-drop, and he dies to Fatal Push, and he dies very easily to the most played removal spell in Legacy right now, Kozilek's Command. I can't believe that card is the most played. Like, that card makes me sick. I think it's just like a terrible card design, giving colorless all the flexible abilities. But you have to admit that it is out there, and it will just completely... If it's not exiling your Baragoyf, maybe they just make a ton of dudes, and then your Baragoyf never gets across the finish line and they don't care about your life total, right? Like, so, Deafening Silence did some work. I don't know how much work against. I think we boarded in like 2 different matchups. But yeah. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering what my losses were in the previous league that I dropped, and I played this exact 75. I lost to Necrodominance, just turn 1, nothing I could do. And I was on the draw both of these matches. And then I lost to Painter, which, Clarion Conqueror is great against Painter, but then they draw their Fury. And Clarion Conqueror dies, and then they grind you out. So, again, like, what is Clarion Conqueror answering? It's kind of like what is, Collector Oof answering. Like, these fundamentally are brittle creatures that get killed. They are not durable lock pieces like Null Rod. And it makes me sad because, like, against Breakfast, you really do want to have Clarion Conqueror, but at the same time, they can just kill it so easily. Like, they've got Prismatic Ending in 3 colors. They've got often Teferi to just bounce it out of play and just ignore the fact that it was ever there. So, yeah, anyway, I don't want to end on a negative note or anything like that. I think this is a really fun brew to play. But think twice before you play. You'll see these at the top of like the leagues. You'll see like, oh wow, that guy with the black-white deck, and even the Yorion, right? Like, Yorion, really? You're playing Yorion right now with Blue-Black Reanimator and all this other stuff? Like, but people are doing it, and just know that like it's fun. I love this kind of Magic, but I'm very skeptical that it's the right thing to be doing. I think the right thing to be doing is not even Thoughtseize. It's just straight up Dazes. Because the meta is so freaking fast right now. Karnforge, oh my goodness. Like, what are we going to do? Like, they just top deck another One Ring. Oh, I have to call it the highlight of the deck. Like the highlight of the league was absolutely the Cabal Therapy naming One Ring against our opponent's known for One Ring hand. That was so glorious. And I hope you enjoyed this league. I hope you're enjoying me experimenting with different archetypes, even if they're like not at all tier. And I hope you're enjoying just putting fair creatures into play and enjoying little synergy, like the red creatures interacting with AJANI and giving him like the ability to like, do damage to stuff in addition to just making cats. Like these are the little synergies that Legacy used to be all about before they printed One Ring and before they printed Tamio, which I will go ahead and quote Bosch and Roll because I think it's a hilarious and astute observation. Control is no longer an archetype in Legacy. Control is now a backup plan you put into your tempo deck. That's what Tamio is. So I'll leave you there. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.